Right, it is your back-to-back update on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Obviously, I'll say a very big thank you to all of you who have subscribed to the channel and turned on notification. And those of you share the link. God bless you. For the good stuff that you do for us here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So subscribe here. I think you're missing out a lot. So you should subscribe, turn on notification, and make sure to be able to find 28 days into the January transfer window. Some clubs have been heartbroken. Others are happy. Others are not so happy. And I'll tell you a story of some very, very, really interesting things and why certain clubs are doing certain things, especially club bit sections. We'll go club by club. Now, listen. Someone subscribe to the channel and subscribe. Turn on notification and I share a link now for enjoy analysis in the Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. But let us start like this. See, clubs for myriad reasons in here. Almost to specific players, or they do the deals that they do at certain point in time in January. Now, usually in January, clubs and pay some better players, baby. Now, the reason is quite simple. Oshe Obi to say Manchester City, they had an outlier of a problem. Outlier in the sense that now almost a lot of injury issues and results were plummeting. Almost struggle against a lot of the teams, almost final, Paris Saint-Germain, all of the teams in the Champions League. So obviously, now Utie Joseph Guardiola consistent or better just open the players know them or the world best player, world best number 6 in Rodri in the team limit open the players and so he can be able to deliver. And seriously, Chiki Pakistan and Sheikh Mahmoud mo or chairman of the City Group mo, and of course the sporting director of City, of course, that we know that Hugo Vienna will come and take over from Chiki Pakistan when he leaves. What happened was simple. They identified their players, went into the general transfer market. No waste of time. They got the players in. Example like Obitse Omar Mamouche. City wanted a second striker after Julian Alvarez. They had not replaced him in the summer. And maybe because at the time they weren't convinced about anybody. Maybe their scouts had not been pinpoint on who they should bring in to replace Abrantef and Julian Alvarez. Now they went to Frankfurt in the German Bundesliga, looked at Abrantef and Omar Mamouche, Obitima Mom goals, Obitima Mom runs in behind, Obitima Mom second striker, Obitima Mom from outright finishing. Then they said, okay, fine, Yanko for your second striker, and it was Abrantef and Omar Mamouche. They wanted somebody that can play as a centre back or physical or aggressive. We need duels. They went to a young Uzbek centre back now about 2 years ago about the Belarusian Premier League. They wanted options. They went for him. They've gotten him. The job is done. He's a new Man City centre back. And really, you need to Man City for wanted to get a job done. Because he played against Chelsea. There was Victor Reyes also from Palmeiras or Brazilian League. They had conversations about him, looked at him. Oman Kasa on chain in the summer, they went for him. They needed that call to come and solve a particular problem of Manchester City. Now, also be said club beat Real Madrid. Madrid were clear, so regardless of the injury issues, they were not going to sign any player. Now, most of the players are Madrid that target them are players that they are hoping to get them in the summer. Now, some of them were hoping to get them for free, some of them to get them at a discounted fee. Obitse Trent Alexander-Arnold. Still, he hasn't signed a contract extension at Liverpool. Contract's not running down. Madrid will not want to rush it and get him done in January, especially somebody carrying 25 million. Liverpool for 90. It's a clear plan for Madrid. Don't sign anybody. It's even at fullback. When Somobo beats Raul Asensio at fullback, Omobo Lucas Vasquez at fullback, Omo chairman David Alaba here back, Omo chain even losing Abrante Fernanda Militao, they still say they won't force to go and sign anybody. They will wait to get the centre back that they need, the centre back that they want to be able to come and play with Team Friend FC Real Madrid. And it is really, really important for how they want to do it. It's their transfer strategy. And regardless of everything, now Madrid have said their problem wasn't particularly personnel. Yes, it was personnel in terms of injury, but they realized they were going to be okay. Now, Oshiobi said Liverpool. I mean, the team is oiling fine. You don't need to bring in somebody else. The team has been playing together for a very long time. Or when you have somebody will be shame again, look at somebody like Manchester United. Or when you have wholesale changes, you may not be able to get that set of players in January into Tobasi, no idea, Jumano in the summer, and then bring in the players to come and do the job for you. But I mean, for Chelsea fans, the conversation is that Osha throughout the season, Chelsea has been struggling. I mean, for the better part of the last 1 month from December to January, there have been some struggles for Enzo Maresca and Mantia. And even from the beginning of the season, in the summer, one of the things that was clear is that Chelsea didn't come said they needed a centre forward of it goals among. So where were they going to get a centre forward from? Where were they going to get centre forward of Bobeshe goals among? Could they get the centre forward? Ebiomunya centre forward. What do they want to do? What were they going to do all of those deals in terms of players, about core players, about there were specific things that they wanted to do. By 28 days into January, Chelsea signed a player. In fact, even in terms of outgoing, it has only been Abrante and Renato Sanchez playing at Chelsea and Monaco. What we are hearing, and they say even the deal for Abrante and Cesar Casade or Cesar Casade, as it stands now, it looks like it is off. And Fabrizio Romano was reporting and said Abrante and Cesar Casade, it looks like it's going to be off, of course. And they had a conversation around it. Now, when you look at the Chelsea stories, and there was a first story that came up, said Aston Villa asked questions about Abrante and João Felix. Like I mentioned at the time, I don't think João Felix will leave Chelsea in January. I think it's going to be difficult for Chelsea to let him go because of the wage, because of where he plays. Chelsea don't want to give him out on loan. They would rather let Axel de Sassi go on loan and take some money into Axel de Sassi pay. Aston Villa had 2 players now. They will get either of these 2 players, but not all of them. And I think it's going to be most likely Axel de Sassi who goes out of Chelsea to go and play for Team Friend Aston Villa over there. Now, away from that, Chelsea have always looked for a centre forward. And then the brief that is coming around, and he said Chelsea called to Matthias Tel. No? Yes, we heard Tel say he wants to fight for his place at Team Friend FC Bayern Munich. But Chelsea has started a brief of a journalist said they don't want Matthias Tel again. And immediately clubs begin to say these things to pro journalists. It is clear say they are moving away from player, no? And the player turned them down. And it's clear, obviously, Abrante friend Matthias Tel has turned Chelsea down, and Chelsea aren't going to be with him there. Chelsea aren't going to get Abrante friend Matthias Tel. Matthias Tel is leaving. He's not leaving Team Friend FC Bayern Munich because he has asked for more game time. He has asked for time. Or a lot of the matches over Team Friend FC Bayern Munich. Yes, in the last 3 games, on share then be more, but I doubt Tel every fit Team Friend FC Bayern Munich. So Chelsea need goals, and this one I'm seeing on Isha say okay the conversation between Chelsea sporting directors, if you didn't come up between Enzo Maresca and the 2 sporting directors in Wayne Stanley and Stillwater. It has been clear, said Wayne Stanley, Maresca catcher, the 2 sporting directors said the lack of goals is coming from lack of personnel because again, and also who scored who? Centre forward Iridium highest Ellen Haaland, Alexander Isak, then Nicolas Jackson, around 7 point something. So it means that Nicolas is not doing bad, but really it means what actually means that the burden of Chelsea Football Club cannot be on Nicolas Jackson and Kwa. You need more than Nicolas Jackson. And Chelsea Football didn't come up for João Felix now. It has opened a can of worms for Abrantia, your friend Jean Duran, to possibly move to Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea for not catch a Villa for anything. They would want to get a Jordan Sauber Kaya in the summer. Chelsea finished a deal on personal terms with Abrantia friend John Duran. Chelsea for no any personal terms agreements no in the summer. Now I'm telling you today on authority based on some very, very close sources, some more Villa, more the West Midlands or England, who are reporting very close, like local journalists or Villa that I've been able to pick intel from. What they are saying then is that Chelsea are agreed personal terms from the summer and now for Abrantia friend John Duran. Now it is left to clap to clap. So I can't pray me kind. When Chelsea for no were telling Enzo Maresca say it is difficult for them to get their option in terms of centre forward in general because Villa were not willing to sell. Now conversations have gone on. Chelsea have asked Abrantia friend John Duran from Aston Villa and they are saying that in excess of 50 million they may be forced to sell Abrantia friend John Duran or do not get too shocked. Said Chelsea in this week, the last few days for the transfer window to end, no, you will see that Chelsea will be moving mountains, going up and down, trying to get things done and then get people in to get things done. Do not get shocked because Chelsea want a centre forward and it looks as if Senipo is very much available for them. And Abrantia friend John Duran. Now John Duran will come at a cost not less than 50 million from team and friend Aston Villa for. I've said it several times. As the season have gone on, I'd rather go in for Abrantia friend Liam Delap. And I say Liam Delap for a reason. I think say Liam Delap is more rounded, or more the same qualities of Abrante Friend John Duran. I mean, the nonchalance ability, the physicality, the dominance, the combativeness with center forwards. The Abrante Friend Liam Delap anymore. With that experience at Ipswich Town, the only reason why Delap is not scoring a lot more is because usually the way of Ipswich Town, he's usually isolated from the team. But be able to create chances around him, Abrante Friend Liam Delap is really going to be very important for team beats Aston Chelsea when you go on for him. I'm sure that Chelsea may be looking at him, but as it stands now, one of the conversation, even the net, David Austin in the morning when speaking about Aston Villa, or can I say Villa for potentially maybe looking at John Duran Lou this man because Alexis Teleska, a player for Al Nassr, has left Al Nassr in the Saudi Arabian League to the Turkish Super League for Fenerbahce. Now, Enunti Al Nassr for center forward. Al Nassr for center forward. Now, center forward now. Brantia, two players, Victor Boniface and Brantia, your friend John Duran. Now, Victor Boniface signed a contract extension with Bayer Leverkusen and chair, but still there's a possibility of he leaving. And I Chelsea forcing him some more power Brantia friend John Duran. That's the thing over this. Fabrizio Romano was talking about Chelsea potentially letting João Felix leave this month. Posted around the same time in terms of the two players and what they want to do over there for them. The conversation around it it's very important. I think say João Felix there, he has to stay at Chelsea because he becomes a direct backup for Cole Palmer. Say Chelsea in center forward, any an extra DM, Chelsea can play with two number 10s. DM will team cover a lot of ground partner. Chelsea can play with two number 10s, and in that game you can have Cole Palmer, any a branch friend João Felix in the team consistently. So I don't think say João Felix has to go. I think say a branch friend Christopher and Kuko most likely is the one that has to go, and then make sure say he goes on to come and get a job done over there. And make sure say they get results over there. What to see say conversations will happen or it won't happen in terms of our two players and the conversation around it or away from center forwards now any the conversation around all of the players. Maybe it's a question where say any UEFA Conference League 400 or no 820 picture be. I'm sure say Chelsea for center for the friend of Mark Gill. He is one of the best players our UEFA Conference League game this season with the number of goals and how good he has been. Most goals at Chelsea our Conference League game this season has come down to Abrante friend McGee. Very important player. Now at Chelsea in your center forward now. Is it time for Chelsea to give Abrante friend McGee some game time? Our not starting ball or Chelsea should not do that. What should Chelsea do in terms of giving Abrante friend McGee some game time, or maybe they should wait for some time before so remember Abrante your friend McGee some game time? But because I think that the young man has really come of age. I think that he has played some very good games. He has shown that he is really growing and he can go in the team and wait to see how things can go on in that regard with respect to Abrante your friend Maggie Alejandro Garnacho still or your interest for Chelsea. I've said several times that unless Manchester United can reduce the price tag drastically, I doubt that Chelsea will go in for Abrante and Alejandro Garnacho over the club to revisit John Duran. Of course, Chelsea for are still looking for replacement, and one of the replacements that Chelsea for have finally settled on. Chelsea could still assess on midfield options with the closure of the transfer window, with sources still not ruling out the getting of a number 6, a lone 6, dual monster and physical player in the middle of the park to get things done. But before some corner now, Lazio, Torino, and Fiorentina, and Chelsea for Abrante friend Cesar Casade. So Kaya, Torino were the closest to signing Cesar Casade, and at Chelsea for negotiations and falling through. Now as it stands now, Torino were almost getting in. Chelsea pulling the deal off because the bidding war has started, and that's what they want. They want good money for Abrante friend Cesar Casade over the Chelsea are confident of securing significant sell-on clause in a deal that will see the midfielder move back to Italy for Abrante friend Cesar Casade, and we are waiting to see who is going to win that deal for Abrante friend Cesar Casade. But like I said, the replacement for Abrante friend Romeo Lavia, like I said, as a lone 6, will be a team building up from the back, somebody that can cover a lot of ground, somebody who is more press resistant, somebody that understands how as a team, a ball in terms of reception of the ball and the controlling of the tempo of games. No, Romeo Lavia is the guy. Now, so also start conversation around Romeo Lavia now. It means that in games that Lavia hasn't played, Chelsea have lacked a little bit of a control kakra, and he's a player that you need to replace. Now, Chelsea wanted to go to team friend Juventus to bring in Douglas Luiz at stopgap, but as a Juve for them person Douglas Luiz about Chelsea for a loan. Now Chelsea are going back to the Italian Serie A, and that's where they've settled on the replacement on Abrantia, your friend Romeo Lavia. Don't be too surprised. Do not be too surprised. So from now to the end of the season, Chelsea are going to officially bring in number 6, and in this case, Abrantia, your friend Belayen over there about the ball or the Italian Serie A. Most likely a player that Chelsea are going to settle on. According to Di Marzio, he's going to cost Chelsea around 50 million euros to get him for the Italian Serie A to come and play for Chelsea Football Club over there. And 50 million euros amount Gianluca Di Marzio because Chelsea can pay for Abrantia, your friend of Belayen, to come and play for Chelsea Football Club over there. And we'll see if most likely Abrantia friend of Belayen will be moving to Chelsea. But Chelsea really will want a center, midfielder also. Apart from the center for a normal player, they need over there a center midfielder over there. I heard a lot of people saying, say, Duran, around 80 million. 80 million for Duran, too much, in my opinion, to get Abrantia friend John Duran. I don't think, Chelsea should pay 80 million for him. In terms of strikers on the market, we see 70 million with Jokeres, 80 million. John Duran, 50 to 80 million. Alexander Isak, 120 million. Liam Delap, 50 million. For me, I think the dream is Abrantia friend Alexander Isak. Hold up play, coming shot, ball striker. Everything that you need from a center forward, Alexander Isak will give it to you. But of course, sometimes you want value for money. Sometimes you want a young player that will come and really play well and get results in there. And that's why, for me, I think that Chelsea should go for Abrantia. Liam Delap is good. Belayen, also in center midfield, is good for Abrantia friend Romeo Lavia in that regard. Splashing too much money in January can be a little bit costly sometimes, and Chelsea should be a little bit careful. And then there were no bet codes on Twitter, Facebook, any groups because of a simple reason. Say, and the Champions League wasn't going to come on until tomorrow. But China Champions League matches now or Mitianopa 222 will spread across bet codes for you wherever that you are. About 5 different bet codes. You come here, you pick up the codes, you're lucky, you get some good money. I am very confident so China there should be some good money for boys. Now even big odds power should go in there to make sure things are going to go on well there in terms of players now. I remember when the conversation around it, and then Noni Madueke was interviewed in a conversation where they asked him about what he wants to do and how well he wants to play. And then Ian Wright, I can see me said Chelsea form is down to Insema Enzo Maresca said Chelsea were not in a title race. And as I said, he didn't need to say that. He could have said it in the dressing room. Former Arsenal manager George Graham wouldn't say anything that made you think Arsene Wenger's world was being positive. When I heard it, I thought it's almost like giving the players get out of jail free card. You start playing badly. I found it strange. It didn't need to be said. At some stage, there was going to be some form drop without him saying that and giving them an excuse. He should have just said, it's brilliant and we are ahead of schedule and we'll see where we are. That's what you do over there. And according to Ian Wright, there was no reason for Coach Efreno Enzo Maresca to say Senna Brantiano are not in there to go and play and win the English Premier League trophy. By way of conversation of Champions League, James Pierce reports Alisson Becker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Konate, Gravenberch, Ades McAllister, Domenico Szoboszlai, Salah, Luis Diaz left out of trip to PSV. Will remain on Merseyside ahead of Saturday league against Bournemouth. Over there. All of these players not travel to team a friend of PSV. Ochina, the best code number will have this in mind and choose who will want to bring it out. We'll choose who we want to, we'll be careful in terms of your bets and prediction because all of these players are very, very important players to Chelsea Football Club in that regard over there. Then wait to see how things are going to go on in the entire conversation. Wait to see over there on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. We'll see how things pan out over there in terms of that conversation. But of course, guys, this is where we draw the curtain. Chelsea have finally gotten their replacement for our brand here friend Romeo Lavia. They are getting closer to a midfield replacement, any centre forward, and all of that conversation has been here. Thank you very much for choosing us on Fiifi-Manfred. We'll see you